The moment I heard those heavy boots echo across the tile floor, I knew our quiet new life had just turned into something darker than an ordinary HOA argument. We'd only been in our home a week, 7 peaceful days since the moving truck pulled out, when the first notice appeared, slipped neatly under the door. Violation of HOA Regulation 8.4, it read in bold letters. Unauthorized plant display. I stared at the photo attached, one lavender plant, sitting innocently in a cracked terracotta pot beside the porch steps. I laughed. They must be allergic to purple, I said to Claire, half joking. My wife Claire didn't laugh. She'd seen this kind of control before, just not from people wearing khakis and clipboards. She was a former Army Ranger turned Green Beret sniper, the kind of person who could read a room, or a battlefield before anyone else knew there was one. Our 12-year-old son, Noah, barely looked up from his video game. As long as the Wi-Fi stayed stable, and his snacks didn't run out, the world could have been on fire, and he wouldn't have noticed. 2 days later, another notice appeared, this time stapled to our gate, complete with a blurry night photo of the same lavender pot. Claire taped it to the fridge like a war trophy, and said dryly, "They're watching." I still thought she was exaggerating, until Linda showed up. Linda Crossman was the neighborhood compliance officer, a woman whose khaki polo seemed to be starched with self-importance. Mirror lens shades hid her eyes, but her smirk said it all. Clipboard clutched like a weapon, she announced. "We're here to enforce final compliance." Claire didn't flinch. "Let me know when the board sends someone taller than your clipboard." Linda's lips thinned, and without a word she turned and walked off, jotting something furiously as she went. That night, Claire ran our first home defense drill. Noah wore his bike helmet, and wielded a garden rake like a spear. "This is ridiculous," he complained. Claire handed him a foam pool noodle. "Disarm the perimeter. Roll, sweep, clear." He sighed, but when she demonstrated a flawless low crawl beneath the hedges, even Noah started to take it seriously. "This isn't a war zone," he said. Claire's eyes stayed sharp. Neither was Fallujah, until it was. 3 more warning letters came after that, followed by a bright red final review sticker slapped right on our front door. The HOA fines stacked faster than junk mail. And then came the silence. The streetlights flickered out. The dog stopped barking. Even the air felt heavier. That's when I heard them. 3 sets of boots, steady, synchronized, deliberate, crunching across the front lawn. They didn't knock. They didn't announce themselves. They lined up in front of the door like referees before a fight. I crouched behind the curtain with Claire while Noah filmed everything on his phone. 3 men in tactical vests stood on our porch, badges that weren't quite police but weren't exactly fake either. The lead one barked, "You are in violation of HOA Regulation 8.4. Final eviction proceedings begin immediately." "Final proceedings," Claire repeated, stepping into the porch light. "That's a big word for someone wearing knockoff Oakleys." The first man blinked. The second bent down inspecting the door frame. The third scanned our flower beds like he was casing the place. "Watch his hands," Claire murmured. Before I could answer, the sprinklers erupted, but instead of water, a fine mist of chalk dust blasted upward, covering the porch in white haze. The men coughed and stumbled. Claire moved. She was a blur, grabbing the first man's wrist, twisting, zip-tying him in one clean motion. The second barely turned before she swept his legs and bound his hands behind him. The third dropped his radio, choking on chalk dust, before Noah's camera caught the whole scene. "Mum!" Noah gasped. I stood frozen, realizing we hadn't just scared off a few overeager enforcers. We'd just repelled a recon mission. As the chalk settled, 3 zip-tied men sat slumped on our porch steps, while Claire examined their gear like it was enemy loot. By sunrise, our cul-de-sac was buzzing with quiet gossip. 3 men had been found zip-tied on our porch, their faces streaked white from the chalk dust that refused to wash off easily. But by morning, the HOA had already spun its story. Flyers appeared on every door overnight. "Emergency drill completed. Thank you for your calm and cooperation." All printed with the HOA's official seal, and signed of course by Linda Crossman. Neighbors whispered over mailboxes, avoiding eye contact. Some even looked at us like we had done something wrong. That's when my phone started vibrating with anonymous texts. "Sanctioned operation. Cover up. Watch yourselves." Claire read them, her jaw tightening. "They're trying to bury this." We set up camp at the dining table. Laptops, notes, and too much coffee. Claire, ever the soldier, took command. Within hours she'd hacked into the HOA's internal portal, digging past the public facade of dues and landscaping schedules. What she found made my stomach turn. Invoices, thousands of dollars worth, all billed to a shell company called Sentinel Ridge Defense. "Never heard of them," I said. "That's because they don't exist," she replied. "They're funneling homeowner dues into private security contracts." I spread out board meeting minutes across the table, each page signed by Linda herself. Every single one referenced enforcement readiness drills and neighborhood stability operations. This wasn't about a lavender plant. This was a small-scale, privately funded occupation. By dawn, we'd built our own counter-surveillance system. Claire installed motion sensors across the yard. I hid miniature cameras inside the garden gnomes. Noah, now fully invested, taped his toy drone's camera inside the bird bath.
"It's got a live feed," he said proudly. That night, a loudspeaker crackled from somewhere down the street. "This is a scheduled HOA safety exercise," a woman's voice announced. It was Linda. Moments later, 4 men in black tactical gear began pacing up and down the road, shining flashlights into driveways. One even knelt beside our trash bins like he was checking for contraband. "They're staging a show of force," Claire whispered from the window, binoculars raised. "No authority, just intimidation." I uploaded Noah's footage online, the chalk clouds, the vests labeled HOA Tactical Unit. Within hours, it went viral. The internet did what it does best. It chose sides. Comments poured in. "This can't be real. Who gave them this kind of power? Support that family." For a moment, it felt like justice might actually show up. But then came the counterattack. Anonymous accounts flooded the same threads. They attacked first. "They're drug dealers. The HOA saved our neighborhood." Classic disinformation. Claire called it narrative warfare. She turned our garage into a tactical hub. Whiteboards, maps, string lines marking connections between names, times, and patrol routes. Noah helped, sketching sprinkler range arcs and drone flight paths like blueprints for a siege. We named it Operation Lavender Shield. Phase 1, gather proof. Phase 2, expose corruption. Phase 3, survive retaliation. By the third night, I was running on adrenaline and bad coffee. Claire hadn't slept at all. Every creak of the floorboards made her eyes dart to the window. At 11:47 p.m., motion sensors tripped on the north side of the house. Headlights flared through the blinds. 6 SUVs, no plates. They formed a triangle on our lawn, floodlights snapping on in unison. A bass-heavy voice thundered from hidden speakers, "Submit or evict." Claire strapped on her tactical vest like she was back in uniform. I activated the sprinkler system, modified to spray fine chalk dust instead of water. Noah, wearing his bike helmet again, manned the window with his phone recording everything. The first figure advanced, then another, then 5 more. They weren't sprinting, they were marching. When the first one crossed the line of chalk sensors, Claire hit the switch. A white fog exploded across the yard, followed by blinding porch lights and the sound of Noah's drone whirring overhead. The intruders faltered, coughing, their radios crackling uselessly in the static. Claire moved with silent precision, slipping through the smoke, disabling their comms with quick snips of wire. "This isn't over," one of them hissed as he stumbled backward. "No," Claire replied evenly, "it's just recorded." By the time dawn came, the SUVs were gone. No tire marks, no names, no acknowledgement from the HOA. In their place, a stack of new letters. "HOA emergency protocol complete. Thank you for your cooperation." Same font, same signature, same smug satisfaction. Our neighbors avoided us completely now. Some crossed the street when we stepped outside. Others suddenly forgot to wave. But Claire didn't flinch. Instead, she turned the barn loft into a full-blown command center. 6 monitors, encrypted comms, and a backup generator. Noah mapped every driveway and garden in the neighborhood, marking where drones had been spotted. His childish scrawls had turned into military-grade schematics. I realized then, our family wasn't just surviving. We were holding the line. Reinforced Wi-Fi firewalls. Claire stood at the window, arms crossed, eyes scanning the street like a soldier watching no man's land. "They'll come again," she said quietly, "and this time it won't be about lavender." And she was right, because somewhere in a boardroom, Linda Crossman was planning something far worse. The final phase. Unmarked radios. Non-standard IDs, she muttered. "Someone's playing soldier." I wanted to believe that was the end of it, but Claire didn't. She stared at the dark street, eyes scanning shadows. "They'll be back," she said softly. "And next time, they'll come prepared." She was right. At 2 a.m., the boots came again. Only this time, we were ready. By dawn, the air in Willowbrook was unnaturally still. Even the birds seemed to sense something coming. Claire was already up, tying her hair back, her eyes locked on the driveway like a soldier waiting for the enemy to crest the hill. "They'll make their move today," she said quietly. "They can't stand being humiliated." At 6:02 a.m., headlights appeared, 3 black SUVs rolling in formation, engines humming low. Across their sides, white letters gleamed. HOA Tactical Response. I felt my stomach twist. They were really doing it. Claire didn't flinch. "Positions," she ordered, as calmly as if we were setting the dinner table. Noah ran upstairs to his laptop, activating the drone feed. I grabbed the sprinkler control, the one Claire had rigged with powdered chalk and compressed air, and waited by the porch window. Then the bullhorn crackled. "Residents of Lot 14B, you are in violation of HOA Code 12B. Vacate immediately." Claire stepped out, unarmed, her posture steady. "You're trespassing," she said. "Show me a court order." The man in front, broad-shouldered, helmeted, lifted a fake warrant, laminated like a prop. "This is your order." "Wrong move." Claire nodded to me. I hit the switch. The yard erupted in a storm of chalk and water. blinding white mist swirling under the floodlights. The first two officers stumbled back, coughing. One slipped and hit the ground hard. From above, Noah's drone caught everything. High definition, live-streamed and instantly viral. Within minutes, thousands were watching. Claire advanced through the haze. She moved fast, precise, disarming the nearest man, and tearing off his fake badge. "You're done here," she said. He hesitated. Then his radio hissed. A woman's voice cut through static. "Abort. Abort. Fall back." It was Linda, the same voice that had sent the eviction alert the night before. And just like that, the entire squad retreated. 3 SUVs, engines screaming, tearing out of the neighborhood under a rain of porch lights and recording phones. For a moment there was silence. Then cheers, real, human, unstoppable. Neighbors flooded the street, cameras raised, finally seeing the truth for themselves. By afternoon, the story was everywhere. HOA uses fake police for illegal evictions, blared across every local headline. News vans lined the cul-de-sac. Claire stood on the porch, calm as ever, while reporters shouted questions. Noah's footage became the evidence that blew everything open. Within hours, investigators raided the HOA office. Inside, they found falsified documents, unregistered firearms, and records linking Linda to stolen community funds. She was arrested that night. For the first time in months, the air in Willowbrook felt light again. The neighbors elected a simple community board. No threats, no power trips, just volunteers who wanted peace. Noah replanted the lavender, the same one that had started it all. Claire carved into the pot's rim, Project Lavender Shield. When I asked her why, she said because sometimes the smallest things remind you what's worth fighting for. That night, we sat on the porch under the quiet glow of the moon. The street was calm, the lavender swaying softly in the breeze. Then came a knock on the door. The mailman handed Claire an envelope. Official seal, stamped in blue. She opened it slowly. It was from the county prosecutor. Indictment, Linda Crossman, 17 counts of fraud, 3 of impersonation, 9 of unlawful surveillance. Claire exhaled, finally letting herself smile. "It's over," she said. I looked at the lavender, glowing faintly in the moonlight. After everything, it had survived like us. And for the first time since the fight began, our home finally felt like home again.